So anyhow, I'm watching this scene under 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. There's a on this around the world in 80 days. It talks about making a wager with $20,000, £20,000 in the bank, which is connected to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. There's also another movie, Alpha, where the father looks up to the sky like that, and it says 20,000 years later. 20,000 years, I should say. So the reason why he's talking about 20,000 in Alpha, 20,000 years ago, and then and this new one, Jules Verne, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, plus around the world in 80 days, 20,000 pounds, is because it's related to what I do. I left that out of my story, but I exercise with the hertz frequency of the human hearing, from 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. There's um there's a sweep there that I listen to. It goes, "Ooh." So I listen to that as I'm exercising. Why I do that is because the spiritual warfare that I wage, it involved watching um adult videos, which is against the creator's laws. So when we watch those videos, that those sounds that the actors make, that enters our ears and becomes sin. So when you hear the sounds that the actors make on those videos, it's against my laws. So basically, when I'm hearing those frequencies from 0 to 20,000 hertz frequencies, I'm purifying every spirit in creation, including yours, of the sin of listening to inappropriate sounds that we shouldn't be listening to. I know that all mankind does it. There's, like, I would say pretty much 99% of the world at some point or another listens to those inappropriate sounds from watching adult videos. That's a sacred act saved only for soulmates to make those sounds in when they're in the company of one another, when they have their souls bound to one another. That's the only time that they would make those sounds, and that's the sounds that they make. It's to give their spirits a dream where their spirits can make love in that dream. So when we watch those movies, it becomes sin. That electricity of hearing that frequency of the female and the male enters our ears, and once it enters our ears, it turns into electricity, and that's what a spirit is. A spirit is electricity. So the electricity that sound that you're listening to, as it enters the ears, becomes a sin in your ears. Particularly when you have a climax to watching that, it becomes a sin that your spirit remembers. So it's my hope that by listening to the frequency from 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz while exercising, that I'm going to purify your spirits on your behalf and make your spirit forget all those sins that you've ever committed. While at the same time, trying to make your spirit forget any of the sins that you've committed. So basically, I'm trying to fast track the world's sins that you harbor, so that when we get to where we're going, you don't really have to do too much work. Like, the work's already done. Your spirit basically is caught up to speed. It has forgotten basically all the sins that you've committed and have given your spirit since you started, committing sin. And sin is just basically climaxing. That's what we're most guilty of. But if you've stolen something, right, or if you cheated on somebody, if you fought somebody, that becomes a sin that your spirit remembers. So what I'm trying to do is, hopefully by running 22 minutes to do my 4 exercises, and my crunches, my stretches, my push-ups, and my running for 88 minutes a day, which is connected to Back to the Future, where in Back to the Future, they say, when this baby reaches 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious crap. He's basically talking about me putting in 88 minutes of exercise every day to purify everyone's spirits of sin. Not only mankind, but all creation. It's those sounds, because there's Evil clones our bodies and they abuse our bodies. So when they have relations with our bodies, that body you have another spirit in a parallel universe that also has to be purified of sin. So I'm trying to purify your other spirit that you don't know that you have of sin by listening to that frequency. So as I'm exercising, it's gonna make your spirit forget every sin that you've ever committed without you having to lift a finger. Then when the time comes for you to actually do your purification ceremony, you're basically asking for forgiveness of all the sins that you've ever committed over your lifetime, which might take you 6 months to a year to do. And when you're done all that, all the hard work's done. I've basically reset your spirit and made it forget all the sins that you have committed upon your spirit, plus evil has committed upon your spirit. That's why I'm running with the 20,000 hertz frequency. So I'm watching a video right now about Jules Verne, where the guy it's 20,000 leagues under the sea, and they're just about to have dinner, and the guy says, "Your clothes are in the dryer," which I find ironic, because I'm down here and I've just put my clothes in the dryer. So you might not see that scene until later on in my movie, but if I could get caught up to speed and put these videos together in a playlist, in my spirituality and science playlist, you'll see it. You'll see the connection. So I'm going to try to include that video after this one, because it's connected to what I'm just teaching you here. So when you hear him talk about, or when you watch the video for 20,000 leagues under the sea, it's about running for the frequency from 20 to 20,000 hertz, because that's the sound wave of human hearing. So I'm trying to purify everyone's brains of evil electricity from watching videos that you're not supposed to be watching, because that's a sin against creation. So, I'm trying to purify your spirits without, you having to lift a finger, so that when it comes time for you to do your purification, it's not going to take you very long. Like you won't have to run a year like me to purify your spirit, because I, as the Father of all creation, will have already done that for you by running with that frequency. So, Alpha, when you watch, I'll include the Alpha trailer. So when you watch the Alpha trailer, the guy's hand is up to the sky, and then it says 20,000 years ago. And then around the world in 80 days, the one trailer talks about a guy wagering $20,000 that he can make it around the world in 80 days. And then there's 20,000 leagues under the sea. I'll include that trailer. And then I'll try to include the scene with this one here, where he's talking about your clothes are in the dryer, and then they're just about to have dinner. Because that's what this is about. Me teaching you what the significance of 20,000 is. You wouldn't know the significance of 20,000 leagues under the sea, or wagering 20,000 pounds on ground, going around the world in 80 days, or why 20,000 years ago on Alpha. You wouldn't know, or the 20 to 20,000 hertz frequency, when that sweeps the human hearing like that. What the significance means, unless I told you what it means. It's about me purifying our spirits, especially my spirit, Mother Spirit, and all creation spirits, of the sins that you as mankind have committed, plus the sins that I've committed, plus the sins that evil is bestowing upon our clones spirits in a parallel universe. Like all of us have a clone in a parallel universe that evil is abusing, and they make the sounds that clone makes, along with the people who are having sex with that clone. That has to be scrubbed from that spirit's memory. So that's what I'm doing. That's what 20,000 pounds means, 20,000 leagues under the sea, and 20,000 years ago means, and 20,000 hertz frequency. So when you watch the scene, your clothes are in the dryer, you now know what it's about. It's about me running to 20,000, or exercising the 20,000 hertz frequencies, because of a bunch of evil dummies who are in control of creation and who need to be brought down. So remember that. Again, I keep reiterating the fact, if any dum-dums that come flying around here with 8-mile wide UFOs claiming to be, your maker, tell them to get the hell out of here. Stupid dumbass aliens, man. Trying to be the good guys. Bunch of fakers, man. Just take up arms against them, man, because they're just here to get rid of everyone. Don't listen to a damn word they tell you.